You gotta dig it. Hey fabulous fiberistas, it has been way too long since I did a podcast. Mostly because people engaged with me more on Instagram, so I think why bother with the podcast, but here I am anyway. I'm just gonna do an FO video today. I just wanna show you guys, which I've shown on Instagram. This is the Radians Shawl. It is the Knit and Escape Radians Shawl. It is a shawl that was done specifically for Knit and Escape, so you'll have to go to their website to purchase the pattern. And if you want a kit, Asylum Fibers has kits for it. The pattern is by Romi, and what else can I tell you? I love it. I love crescent shawls. I love shawls that are not monstrously huge because I live in a warm climate. And so I do love little shawls and scarves. And I am so thrilled with this crescent shawl. So here it is in all of its glory. Here it is, tip to tip. Now, you guys, many of you know, and some of you have been using this technique that I have talked about in the past. Whenever I do a shawl, and especially for the garter tab cast on, I always go down several needle sizes from the recommended needle size for the project, and I work my way up every so many rows. Now, if I'm doing the garter tab cast on, what I will do is, let's say for example, the pattern calls for a size 7 needle. I will go down to a size 4 needle. I will cast on my, let's say 7 stitches, right, for a garter tab cast on. And then it'll tell you, work 10 rows, and then you're going to turn 45 degrees and pick up stitches, turn, pick up stitches, turn, pick up stitches, and then you have your garter tab cast on. I will stay on that number 4 needle for that entire garter tab section. All the turning, all the picking up stitches, I will stay on that number 4 needle. I will probably work, it kind of depends on the pattern, but I will probably work 1 or 2 more rows on the size 4. Then I will move up to a size 5 needle, and I will work maybe 4 rows on the size 5, maybe 6. Again, it depends on the pattern. And then I will go up to a size 7. So 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So I'm increasing my needle size every so many rows, like every 4-ish rows, 4 to 6 rows, again, depending on the pattern, with the exception, row-wise, when I change, of the garter tab cast on itself. Then I will do the whole garter tab cast on in the smallest needle size that I decide to use, and then I do that whole section, and then I'll start increasing after I've completed that. Now for this particular pattern, because it was not a garter tab cast on, I did it a little differently. I still went down 3 needle sizes, but this time I worked 4 rows, 3 needle sizes down. Then I worked 6 rows, 2 needle sizes down. Then I worked another 4 rows, 1 needle size down, and then I moved on to my recommended needle size. So that's just a trick that I've used to avoid any potential bumps or humps or nipples or whatever you want to call it that is very common to shawl cast-ons. So you guys, if you haven't tried it, you might want to give it a try. I know I've got quite a few messages from people on Instagram that they love this little technique or trick, and they've been using it since I first mentioned it several years ago. So check it out. If you haven't tried it, do give it a try. And again, you may have to play, depending on your tension, you may have to play with those needle sizes a little bit. I tend to be a loose-ish knitter, so I go down 3 needle sizes. You may find that you only have to cast on 2 needle sizes down and then work your way up to your recommended needle size. So just play with a little, even if you have to pull it out and start again, you're working with so few stitches that it shouldn't cause you too much heartache. When I first learned this, when I first discovered my little trick, or when I came up with my trick, I did have to try it, it was a couple trials and errors and restarting a shawl several times just to get the hang of, my tension and how many needle sizes do I go down. So just know that you may have to tinker just a little bit, but you're talking about 10 stitches on a needle or 12, so you can very easily go through that and figure out what works best for you. So here is this gorgeous shawl. I just want to get up a little closer to show you the lace section. And Stephanie did such a beautiful job on these colorways. Actually, as I'm looking at my dress, this really goes with my dress today, doesn't it? Oh, and yes, this is a made by me dress. And I'll do another video on some of my dresses because yes, I have been sewing a lot. So, what else can I say about this? This is a fairly fast knit. I think I did it in a week. I was working on some other things, and I think I did it in about a week's time or 5 days or something. I don't remember. You'd have to go to my Ravelry page. I have it on there, or maybe 10 days. I don't know. And because I couldn't work on it every single day. Oh, but one day I was getting my tires changed, and while I was waiting, I was knitting on this, and I see a woman across the waiting room, and she is crocheting. Oh my gosh, right? We're so excited when we see fellow fiberistas. So I said, oh, hi, so we waved at each other, and I said, oh, come join me, come join me. We sat down and we chatted. Lovely, lovely woman. Hi, O, in case you're watching. And so we talked about, she is just getting back into being a fiberista, and so I hope she loves it as much as the rest of us do. And I'm trying to encourage her to pick up the needles and start knitting again too. I mean, I love crochet, but I'm partial to knitting. But what I love about crochet is incorporating crochet into my knitting. That is way cool too. So it doesn't matter if you knit or crochet, it's all good. I'm all Twitter-pated here. Why? I will tell you in a minute. One more thing. This was so cool. I read the directions for the lace section, and you get to the bind off row and you're reading it, and I said, gee, how is that going to work? How am I adding stitches and binding off at the same time? Oh, it was so clever, and I got such a kick out of it. And it turns out, and I don't know if I was supposed to, I didn't. I don't think I was supposed to make little peaks here, and I'm not really partial. Well, it depends what the shawl is. I don't always like the fussiness of pinning out peaks. I let my shawls just dry like this, and as they're drying, I'll kind of shake it out a bit just to, get so the stitches open up. I don't like to pin anything. I'm too lazy to do all of that. So I'm not really sure if I was supposed to pin the peaks, maybe. But what I like about it for me is the edging is very even, and I think that's really cool. So it's a very clever bind off, which you're adding stitches and doing a pattern and binding off at the same time, and it was kind of like this, but it all comes together. And so that I really thought that was very clever and cool. Okay, now for the big news. I will be going to Rhinebeck. I'm going to Rhinebeck. Hubby and I decided we need a trip to New York. We're going to go to New York. I will only be at Rhinebeck the Saturday of the weekend. We're gonna take the train up and back, and I'm so excited, and hubby said he's gonna go with me because he likes to look at the animals and that too, and he gets a kick out of all the fiberistas. And a few of them have met him before, Rhinebeck 2019, so they kind of know who he is. And so we're very excited about that. And, we haven't gone on a trip in too long, and so we're really looking forward to it. So if any of you are going to Rhinebeck, I will see you there and come up and say hello. And I'm sure we'll talk before then. Until next time, have a super fabulous fiberista day, week, and month, and I will see you guys again.